Welcome on into WFRV Plus Sports Night here on this Thursday. Cameron Ezair with you. And, well, it was a sad day. Actually, gosh, don't even like that we started with that open music, but that's built into what we got. Got to put on that screen behind me. Come on. And now we're ready to go. A little behind the curtain right there, right? WFRV Plus Sports Night, using the same CTV studio that we do for a lot of our programming here on WFRV Plus. I mentioned it, not an eventful day in terms of optimism and positivity, because the Packers losing its architect of its organization, at least in the past, that kickstarted the success that Green Bay has now. Bob Harlan passing away at the age of 89. We all send our prayers and condolences to the Harlan family. The Packers releasing a statement that he was dealing with a brief illness, and this afternoon passed away. And the outpouring of support and love for Harlan was not just shown by stories on social media, but the Packers. I mean, I was going to say the Packers brass of now and old and players galore releasing statements on behalf of just a life and legacy left by Bob Harlan. It's really tough to put into words, or at least do so in a manner that fully respects the man that meant so much to Green Bay, that being Bob Harlan. Ed Policy, Brian Gutekunst, Mark Murphy, Ron Wolf, Mike Holmgren, Mike McCarthy, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, John Schneider, Bud Selig, Peter King, all releasing their own individual statements. The Packers putting those out on their website and all over their social media platforms, all remembering a life that was filled with so much success, so much joy, and so much admiration for the place that is now called Titletown, largely because of the impact of that man right there, Bob Harlan, passing away at the age of 89. Just a sad day for anyone surrounding the Packers, knowing that the guy that brought Lambeau Field to Green Bay, brought the Packers from County Stadium back to Green Bay, or just here with the fan base and everything that the Packers are, is largely because of that man on your screen. No longer with us. And yeah, it's a tough day. It's a really tough day. And there's a lot of ways that you can remember Bob Harlan, right? You can remember that Super Bowl in which Brett Favre led the Packers back to supremacy, their first Super Bowl win since the Lombardi era and those first two Super Bowls of existence. What about, Brett Favre releasing a statement? What about the guy who ultimately gave Favre an opportunity? You trade for a third string quarterback, not thinking much of it, and he becomes the Kickstarter to ultimately arguably the greatest franchise in all of football, and Brett Favre, getting him from Atlanta. Just so many ways that you can remember Harlan. And he was loved, beloved, and again, just a sad day as former Packers president and CEO Bob Harlan passing away this afternoon at the age of 89. Now, back in 2018, on Local 5, WFRV Channel 5, we ran a segment where Bob Harlan spoke to those in attendance in Green Bay. I'm fairly sure it was the Meyer Theater. And he gave perspective on his life and his career up to that point, up to 2018. Of course, a guy who retired from his post at the Packers after working there from 1971 to 2018. And I thought the one quote that really stood out is what he said about the purpose of a president here in Green Bay. Listen in.
You're a caretaker. You don't own the club. You haven't put money into it. Your responsibility is to care for it, not necessarily make it better than when you got it, I didn't think, but make sure it's healthy. And I have great admiration for the people who preceded me as president, because they all had to fight in various ways, whether it was through stock sales or what have you, to save this franchise and keep this story alive. And I think we did that by building Lambeau Field. We're a caretaker. We're just, the people own it. We got to serve the people, and that was always foremost in my mind.
Bob Harlan knew what the Packers and what that franchise meant and was all about, being the only publicly owned franchise in the NFL, owned by the fans. And I think that's a perfect way to put it. The president and CEO, not the owner, they don't dole out the dollars. They're the caretaker. They're the voice of the fans. They have to be a representation of the action of what the fans want, which ultimately is the Lombardi Trophy, and he was able to bring one to Titletown that 1996-97 year. I mean, think about it. So, you know, from the back-to-back Super Bowls all the way to 92, I think the Packers had 5 winning seasons. Bob Harlan was the one to bring in Ted Thompson, was the one to hire Mike Holmgren, was the one to trade for Brett Favre. And what has that done for Green Bay? Consistent success that just hasn't wavered. And that's because of the guidance under the tutelage of a guy like Bob Harlan. And from what he did in the baseball scene, the St. Louis Cardinals winning a ring with them, to ultimately bring a title to Titletown, and honestly turning Green Bay into a place that it even makes sense to call it Titletown. Bob Harlan meaning so much. Thought there was a really cool moment back in 2006, December 28th of 2006, right after Christmas. Harlan, no longer the president and CEO, had reached his age limit of 70, which is when, as we saw with Mark Murphy, they have to retire, move to chairman for an extra couple of years before ultimately, calling it a career with the Green Bay Packers. And in 2006, for the end of the regular season, the Packers with a win at Lambeau Field that would mark Bob Harlan's final regular season home win. Lambeau Field, the place that he built, you saw in those pictures, revealed the Lambeau Field sign, digging the dirt. And a cool moment after that game that would mark a legacy for Bob Harlan that none of us will ever forget.
All right, I got a special presentation. Bob Harlan, please come on up here, please. This would be possible without Bob Harlan's guidance and vision. Okay, this last Lambeau victory. Congratulations, Bob. Here's your game ball. No.
I tell you what, I've been here 36 years, and I've been so proud to be a part of this organization. And I'm so proud of the way you fellas have fought back this year to get where you are right now. You're great representatives of the greatest franchise in the National Football League. You got a wonderful future, and I couldn't be happier for all of you. Merry Christmas to everybody, and thank you. Back on 3. 1, 2, 3.
So cool right there. Mike McCarthy, who didn't even coach in the 90s, but understanding the magnitude of what Bob Harlan brought to the table in Green Bay, brought Lambeau Field to Green Bay, where the Packers reside. And he deserved that game ball. And he deserves a lot of love from a lot of people, and he got it today for a lot of reasons. Titletown is Titletown because, yes, they've won 4 NFL championships and 13 world titles. Now, Bob Harlan, don't think that that's a thing. It's a very sad day. Bob Harlan passing away at the age of 89. Okay, break time here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. When we come back, shifting gears to the Green Bay women, who destroyed Detroit Mercy in the Horizon League quarterfinals to advance to the semis. We'll hear from Kayla Karius and the star of the night, Maddie Skrupski, who had a triple-double. That's next on the show. And back here on WFRV Plus Sports Night, Cameron Ezair with you. The Green Bay women advancing just as the Green Bay men did. But GB advancing to the Horizon League semifinals. They'll play on Monday in Indianapolis, an 81-57 win over Detroit Mercy. A lot of storylines to throw out there. Jenna Geyer led the way with 25 points on 10 of 18 shooting. She had 9 rebounds as well. Reached her 1,000th career point. That was so cool in her final game at the Crest Center. And now the women just 2 wins away from back-to-back conference titles. Another huge story. Maddie Skrupski, the transfer from Oakland, the senior. My goodness, the second ever player in GB history, first since 2004, to record a triple-double. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. And for alum of the program, Kayla Karius, just keeps on winning in conference, doesn't she, at the head coaching post? Here's Karius and Skrupski on the victory.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I just feel like we have a resilient group. You have to be resilient when you play this game, when you play it in a league that we do, which was really competitive top to bottom. If that's the team that finished at the bottom of the league, that's a really competitive league. There isn't a game that you can take a night off and feel okay about it, which is great. It's a testament to the coaches that are in this league and the players that are coming in. So I just think that we had great resilience. We've built that up all throughout the season. It doesn't just happen. But it could just tell. I mean, the bus ride home on Saturday wasn't a fun one. It was a really quiet one. And then Monday, like I said, just the progression of it. But today, even at shoot around, I just thought we just looked different. We're ready to go.
It's 25-23 there midway through the second quarter, and then boom, 19-0 run. And it's a close game to kind of a blowout. What did you kind of see during that run, and what kind of changed from such a close game to you guys just figuring it out?
Yeah, I remember they hit back-to-back threes, and there's few of their perimeter shots went in. And this is a team that just wants to get to the rim so often that if they do combine that with hitting perimeter shots, they just become a very difficult team to guard. So that's what started to happen, and I think times of those adversity, you just have to stick to game plan, stick to what's been working. For us, that was throwing the ball inside. I mean, we finished with 52 points in the paint, and just got them in foul trouble, and just we were relentless getting the ball inside. And I love that we were looking for each other there, and we got to the foul line. That's a lot of times for us to be able to get there. So I think we just stuck the course. Again, just looked at each other and said, just do what we do, and we weathered a little bit of that storm, and then it just started to break open.
Maddie, you're just the second player in this program's history to finish with a triple-double. What does that mean to you, and what were you feeling like tonight on the court?
I think it's a cool thing, but I couldn't do it without my teammates. Obviously, to get 10 assists, you need teammates to make 10 shots, and everybody was on tonight. Everybody was finishing, so it was just a fun game.
Do you know that you have that at the end there, or does somebody have to tell you, or are you kind of aware of what you're standing at?
Jenna told me at the end of the game, so I didn't know during, but it was pretty cool to find out after.
Speaking of Jenna, she gets 1,000 points tonight. Just again, we talked about her on Senior Day, but just her getting that milestone tonight, what's that mean for this program?
I think that was the perfect capstone for her career. Not that it's over, but for her career at the Crest Center to cross that threshold of 1,000 points in her final home game as a senior. It just you couldn't have written the story better. I don't think we've spoken about her at length about not even starting a game since until her senior year, and just what she's been able to do this year has been so fun to watch for everybody, not just for the coaches and for her teammates, but I think for every single person in the building. She's just so easy to root for, and it's pretty special that she became a 1,000-point scorer and joined that list tonight.
Maddie, I don't know if you know this, whether it was Oakland, whether it was high school, middle school. Have you ever had a triple-double that you're aware of?
I think in high school I had one, but we'll have to check the film. I don't know.
Kayla, now you have the situation where you get this buy into the semifinals on
Yeah.
Monday. The team, whoever you end up playing, is going to play it, I believe, the day before.
Yeah.
Is that an advantage? Is it tougher to actually get, there and be off and not actually get to play, or how do you view that?
I don't know yet. I mean, it is what it is. I think you have to overcome all that other stuff now and just be like, this is who we are. We're going to play up to our standard and up to our level. So this is the first time we've had this format. So the good news is we can get there and we can watch that game, which is good for our players to get in that environment. They'll play a game on that on that floor before we'll have a chance to, whoever we play. But it kind of is what it is. I think that you are who you are right now, and you just want to keep this momentum rolling, and we're not going to look into any of those other factors. We're just going to go out there and play.
Not to get you in trouble with the Horizon, depending on what you say, but are you okay with this format when it got put in, or do you prefer the old?
I'm indifferent, I think, and I don't really have an answer until we go through it, and then we can experience it.
It seems like a couple of big plays in that first half to kind of spark that run was the 2 transition layups to Cammie. Is that when you were going inside, but just kind of speeding things up? Was that kind of what happened there? It just got everybody going, right?
Yeah, it did. And I mean, if you're going to be on the floor with Maddie Skrupski and Cammie Pepler, you better run, because if you run, you're going to get a layup. And then when these two look for each other, it just becomes something special. And I thought the roof was going to blow off here tonight when it gets just over and over and over. Got downhill in transition, and we're looking for each other and finishing. So part of it was when we got stops, we didn't want them to get back and get their defense set. They've been fluctuating between man and zone, and of course one of the easiest ways to break a zone is just to go and score before they even get it set up. So we in the first 2 matchups with them, we felt like that was a category that we capitalized on a lot, so we just wanted to keep the pressure going.
Yeah, what about Carly Duffman?
Yeah, she was great.
Pretty valuable minutes.
She really did. She was really tough inside. I love that she was finishing on the block. She got to the free throw line. Rare misses by her. She's normally a very good free throw shooter, but despite all that, I thought she was great tonight. I think actually out of the last couple of games, she's sort of saved her best for last year as far as regular season goes, and hopefully we can keep that momentum going, because she's just she's one of those X factor players with the lineup that we start with. She's really a 4 playing a 3, and there's just really not a lot of teams that can match up with that. So for her to get opportunities inside and capitalize, I think is what we were looking for with that spot. She's done a great job.
It's been a while since both GB basketball programs have went to Indy.
Yeah.
For somebody who loves this school as much as you, how special of a time is it for just the fans and community?
Yeah, this is really cool. I mean, if you were here last night, the men's program had just an amazing crowd, and the students, and I would echo that tonight. We had an awesome crowd, and 1,900, and we had students out here again, and you're seeing so much school pride go into this place, and I think it's a different feeling too, because it's not something that I'm used to. As a player, the format was just so different. They were separate, and I think it's a really cool thing for us all to be able to come together. Coach Gottlieb has been really supportive of me and our whole program since the day he got here. We have a really good relationship with their men's staff. Honestly, talking a lot. We're all in the same hallway, so we just have a great relationship. We've been rooting for them all the way through, and just appreciate Doug will reach out to me on road trips after tough losses, big wins, all the things. We just keep supporting each other. So I think from a coach's side, that's really cool to see that we're going to be able to see them down there, and I think our players have become good friends with those guys too. So I just think if we can load up a couple buses and bring a lot of Green Bay fans down there, and they can get the 2 for 1. That's a good thing.
The support and the success has been there for Green Bay hoops. The Green Bay men will play Sunday at 2:30 Central Time against Northern Kentucky in the second round for a chance to book their spot to the semifinal round on Monday. And the Green Bay women, because they're the top seed in the tournament, already clinching a spot in the semifinals. That also on Monday. Game time for the women's game is at noon, and they'll await the winner of the second round game on Sunday in the women's bracket, while the men, they play Northern Kentucky. Whoever wins that one will then move on to play Wright State in the semifinals on Monday. Okay, one final break here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. We're going to talk some more GB next on the other side. Back here on the show, WFRV Plus Sports Night, the Green Bay women advancing to the Horizon League semifinals after the men booked their ticket to Indianapolis to play in the Horizon League second round. And my goodness, was it a victory over Detroit Mercy. Didn't look too pretty off the jump. led 25-23 against a team that had only 7 wins on the season, and that not being in conference, that being total wins on the season. They were the 11 seed, the lowest seed in the tournament, pulled off a mini upset over Milwaukee in the 11-10 matchup to advance to play Green Bay. But then the Phoenix, they turned it on. They rose 19-0 run that eventually became 19-2 entering the half. I mean, it went from 25-23 to 44-23 very quick. Maddie Skrupski, Cammie Pepler, Carly Duffney, Jenna Geyer. It felt like everything was clicking. Christina we met, and then that second half was just cruising to victory. Jenna Geyer, Horizon League Player of the Year, give her another 25 points. Maddie Skrupski dishing dimes all night. I mean, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. To have a triple-double in a tournament game in which it's a blowout says a lot, yes, about the teammates that she was finding, but her ability to also find those teammates. Remember, she's also a point guard. 10 rebounds, very impressive. And she didn't need to do a lot of scoring, only 12, because 4 of the 5 starters scored in double figures, and the Phoenix, they look like they're rolling after losing 3 of their last 5 conference games following that 15-0 conference start. And you wondered, there was what was it? It was 5 games there, and then the 2 priors. The final 7 conference games went 4-3 in the month of February. The first 2 wins being game winners close to the end of the game, and then you lose 2 in a row. You win 2, and then you lose your regular season finale. And again, it felt like a snowball. It felt like it was going downhill, and a lot of those losses, or at least the 2 that were tight losses, were on the road. And now you're going to Indianapolis, right? Under those crest lights, you're 15-1, but now you're going to Indianapolis, and you got a lot of weight in your shoulders, a lot of pressure for this Phoenix squad. But it felt like in that first half, and even just cruising in the second half, right, taking care of business, and Kayla Karius very on her team about their inability to close games strong in the fourth quarter, even if they were blowing out teams. But the Phoenix look like they're clicking on all cylinders. The men, they'll have to take on Northern Kentucky, a team that they also swept in the regular season. Same with Purdue Fort Wayne, in which the team they beat in the first round to then advance. And right now, it looks like both these programs are on a fast track to possible Horizon League championships, which is just, it's crazy to think about. Now, the men have a lot of work to do with Northern Kentucky, and then Wright State, and then what's to follow after that. But just as my coworker Kyle Malzahn says all the time, the Horizon League, it's always up for grabs. Get your popcorn out. You never know what's going to happen, and that's the case, and that's been the case all season, and that will probably be the case in the Horizon League tournament. I mean, Northern Kentucky even upsetting Oakland 85-84 in order to even get to the point where they'd play in the second round of the Horizon League tournament. The rest of the games pretty much blowouts in those second halves. But the GB men, they'll have their work cut out for them. That Purdue Fort Wayne game showed a lot. It showed that they can take a big lead, they can squander it, and still stay tough and resilient, even if they're not shooting the basketball that well. And the Green Bay women showing once again why hiring Kayla Karius was the right move. Her recruiting to get Maddie Skrupski, to get Cammie Pepler, to get the We Met sisters, and Carly Duffney and Gracie Gresh. And I think those are both two teams to definitely be reckoned with come tournament time. The men playing at 2:30 on Sunday, and the women in the semifinals noon on Monday in Indianapolis. Okay, that'll do it for WFRV Plus Sports Night. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you next week.